Hey, what's up folks? How's it going? This is Waj. Hope you guys are all doing well. So recently Apple just unveiled the new iPhone X. What we're going to do is a little product breakdown and also do a brief specification comparison between its main competitor, the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now straight off the bat, the big thing that you're going to notice about the new iPhone X is the bezel-less design, which is definitely similar to the Galaxy Note 8, although they kind of take that design in a different form. In terms of actual screen measurements, you're looking at about 5.8 inches on the iPhone versus 6.3 on the Note 8, and they both have a screen to body ratio of about 83%. So both have a decent amount of display relative to the border themselves. They both are going to look excellent. Now, in terms of actual resolution, you're looking at different resolution. On the Note 8, it's around 2960 by 1440 versus the iPhone is 2436 by 1125. The PPI count is higher on the Note, about 521 versus 458 on the iPhone X. They're both AMOLED displays, so both are going to give you amazing color reproduction with a wide color gamut. Both are HDR spec as well, so expect to see 16 million colors and tremendously deep looking blacks on both displays. But the real test is going to be in real life once we have our hands on both these devices and we can give you a better idea in terms of how the displays actually look. Now moving forward, in terms of actual physical dimensions, you can see the dimensions laid out right in front of us. Essentially, the iPhone X will be the smaller overall device in pretty much every measurement. Certainly in terms of thickness, you're looking at 7.7 millimeters versus about 8.6 millimeters. Both are going to have glass backs and fronts, so durability is going to be relatively good, and both are going to be IP68 certified for dust and water resistance. Now internally, the iPhone X is going to be pretty much identical to the standard iPhone 8s. They're all going to be using A11 Bionic chips, which is a 6-core processor comprised of 2 high-performance cores and 2 efficiency cores with a 3-core GPU built in as well. Now, depending upon which version of the Galaxy Note 8, you're either going to get an Exynos 8895 octa-core chip or a Snapdragon 835 octa-core chip. Again, we'll have to see how both of these two smartphones compare against each other when it comes to Geekbench scores and Antutu benchmarks and overall gaming performance once we have our hands on them. My guess is both are going to be relatively fast. You're not going to have any issues with them no matter what you're doing. Now, in terms of the memory specifications, the iPhone X is going to come in a 64 and 256 gigabyte model, and it'll have about 3 gigabytes of RAM as we know thus far. The Note is going to come with 64, 128, and 256 gigabyte versions, and it's going to have 6 gigabytes of RAM, as well as a micro SD expansion slot to upgrade the internal memory up to 256 gigabytes. Now, the back of the devices, both the iPhone and the Note have a very similar setup in terms of camera configuration. Both are using the dual 12 megapixel sensors, very similar overall camera and lens configuration. They are using different sensors though, so the dynamics of the cameras will be different. Both do have optical stabilization. The iPhone X does have a quad LED flash versus the Note has a dual LED flash, so you might have a brighter, more diffuse looking flash on the iPhones compared to the Note, but again, we'll compare that. In terms of actual video capabilities, both can shoot 4K. The big thing about the iPhone is they can shoot 2160p at 60 frames per second, which is pretty awesome. Thus far, the Note 8 is around 30 frames per second for its 4K capabilities, and the slow motion capabilities are also enhanced on the new iPhones. You're looking at 1080p at 240 frames per second versus the Note can only do that speed at 720p resolution. So there is a difference in terms of the slow motion capturing capabilities on both of these devices. But again, we'll have a more detailed analysis once we do our full in-depth camera comparison. Now, the front cameras are pretty substantial as well. You're looking at 8 megapixels f1.7 on the Note 8 versus 7 megapixels f2.2 on the iPhone X. Both can do 1080p at 30 FPS. The Note can actually do quad HD at 30 FPS, which is nice. Now, since there's no Touch ID on the iPhone 10, it's actually using the face recognition as its main security feature to unlock the device. So it has a huge array of different sensors at the front of the camera itself. They're calling their true depth camera. So it has an IR camera separate from the main camera, as well as a dot matrix sensor, and they're using this neural pattern recognition system built into their new chip to basically unlock the phone in the safest and secure way as possible. And we'll see how both of them do in terms of recognizing your face, how long it takes to unlock the phone, and all those details, again, once we have our hands on both devices. Now, some of the other notable features is that we still don't have a headphone jack. You're still going to use a Lightning to 3.5mm adapter for the new iPhone 10 and the 8s indeed, versus the Note. You're not going to have that issue, and the Note still has a fingerprint scanner at the back, as well as a heart rate monitor and an oxygen sensor as well, which is always a convenient thing that a lot of people actually still use. Now, one of the big updates of the new iPhone is that it has wireless charging enabled. So it's actually using the Qi platform, and the Samsungs have been using both PMA and Qi wireless charging for a number of years now, so it's nothing new for them. The iPhone also has official quick charging support, so you can get up to 50% charge in around 30 minutes time. Again, something we've been seeing in Samsung devices for years, so nothing new there. And in terms of actual capacity, we're not exactly sure because it's still relatively new in terms of how large the battery is, but Apple does guarantee around 21 hours of 3G talk time, and it's going to get on average 2 more hours than the iPhone 7. And on the Note, you're looking at a non-removable lithium-ion 3300 milliamp hour battery, and my guess is both of these devices are going to be fairly similar in terms of overall battery consumption, but we'll have a critical test again once the iPhone 10 is available to us. Now, speaking of availability, basically orders start around 27th of October for the new iPhone 10, and it's going to come out on the 3rd of November. So expect to see our content on the new iPhone 10 early November. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you've done so already. Give us a thumbs up if this video helped you out in any way. Thank you so much for watching and your support, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.